we've all gone to the bookstore or the library and bought or taken out books that suck. So clearly that's not the only key to getting published. There's something else out there. Not sucking might give you an edge, but it might not. So I thought about what made the difference between my getting published, and I have some friends, who are published, and people who don't get published. I mean, a lot of people write, a lot of people get published, a lot of people don't. And instantly a phrase came into my head that has nothing to do with writing. It's a remark that Dr. Johnson, and I don't know if there are any other former English majors here, but Dr. Samuel Johnson said to Boswell, his famous biographer, and it was on the occasion of a man getting married again after having had an unhappy first marriage, and his wife died, and he got married again, and I don't know if anyone here knows this very famous phrase, that it's the triumph of hope over experience, which is a very handy phrase. Comes in a lot. And I think that phrase is the key to success in getting published. Everyone gets rejected. Everyone. I don't know. I have a friend who right now has a book on the bestseller list. New York Times fiction bestseller list. Been there for a few weeks. This guy wrote, I can't remember, but something like a dozen novels that have been rejected in the past. Over and over again, he spent years of his life, decades of his life, working a day job, getting up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, something like that, writing, doing his job, finishing books, trying to get them published, and getting rejected. Then he hit it with a humor book, and actually did very well with that, and ended up being able to devote himself full-time to writing, but he still hadn't gotten a novel published. Still was trying, still had several novels rejected. This year it sold a novel, and it's on the New York Times bestseller list. And the key to that is that he kept trying, despite his experience. He kept going. There's a story about a New Yorker cartoonist, one who gets published a lot in the New Yorker, and it's one of my favorite stories because what this guy said, he would submit a cartoon to the New Yorker, and before he got back their response, he would mail off another one. He'd get back a rejection, but already he knew he had another cartoon out there, and he thought, well, maybe that one will hit it. And before he heard about that one, he would mail off another cartoon. And he kept doing that. He kept hope alive by continually having another cartoon to submit. And one day he got back a note saying, keep sending them. And that was enough. That was more than him keeping hope alive at that point. That was someone else helping him keep his hope alive. And now he's in there pretty much every week and is a very successful cartoonist. There's no way not to have some failure. There's no way not to have rejections. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and if someone here knows a different experience, please let me know. I mean, every once in a while you hear about it. There are people whose very first thing gets published and maybe even does well. I was just talking to a friend who the very first book she's ever had published is, believe it or not, also in the New York Times bestseller list. I have friends who do great. I admire them. I'm not quite at that level, but and she's working on her second book. Her first book was a memoir, and her second one is fiction, and she was tearing her hair out. She was miserable. And you think, why would she be miserable? She's had the success. We're all, everybody wants to, to be a best-selling author. She was on Good Morning America and The View, and she said, now my editor wants the novel to be much more like the memoir, and that wasn't what I was trying to do. And she said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. It may not end up, she may end up rejecting it ultimately. I don't know what's going to happen. And I thought, wow, you never really reach a point. I take it back. James Patterson probably has reached a point where he's not sweating it out. But in general, you never reach a point. I have 6 published books. I have a deal. I have a deal for 3 more that are going to come out within the next year and a half, I think. And I am sweating like crazy right now because I'm terrified that the one that just came out might not sell, and that it will all be over, for me. And some of that's my personality. But there are a lot of books out there. There are a lot of books that people are trying to sell, and it's getting harder to find ways to sell. As we lose our independent bookstores, and they're dropping like flies, the ability to nurture a new author to a place where people can actually discover someone, it's just getting much, much harder.